What is up? Greetings. It is your favorite nonchalant art man. Commissions are on sale, so a lot of commissions have been flooding in. We like that because it means more content. Funny story. So I made changes to my commission info sheet, put the sale information in there already, although I didn't announce it publicly yet. But this guy was in my DMs before I even managed to make the information public, saying, "Yo, is on sale. I gotta get it now." Hello. I always wanted to commission you, but never had the money for it, and now you went on sale, so I just had to do it. It is now or never. I don't know how I feel about that. Now or never. Like, you saying that my normal prices are too high. Anyways, I'm joking. I would like to have a drawing of my character and the attachments of him looking up to a full moon while he's outside in a park at night. It should be a snowy night where just a light snow, so there is not much snow on the ground and trees. The focus should be more on the character with a complementing background, since I want to use this as my wallpaper. I could not think of a pose of him looking up, but I hope you find a good solution. He is a voidling, is not familiar about normal things such as looking up at the moon, so he is very easily fascinated with small things. Cool character. I actually think it's cool legitimately. I'm not just saying words. It needs to have like a vibe going on, like I need to portray moonlight somehow, make it read as moonlight. Just make it blue, you know, that's how you know it's moonlight. That's what they do in movies. So I thought about how it would be most optimal to handle a scene where there's like a moon going on and then the character looking at it. Are we gonna have like both the moon and the character in the scene, or just the character, or the character facing his back towards the camera and looking up somewhere? Because that's the only way I could fit both in the scene. So I only found out about this problem when I did the thumbnailing in my sketchbook. So the first one would have been like just sitting down somewhere looking up, and like an alternate shot of the same one at the like a park bench, like sitting at a tree. All these options would have had only the character and not the moon in there. Shot where he is in front of the moon, that's still not him looking at it. But yeah, so basically I communicated this to the client, and he said that yeah, the moonlight should only be conveyed with actual light hitting the character. So cool, that's exactly what I needed to know. The final thumbnail now. They wanted it to be like the camera to be looking down at them slightly as well. So that helped. Alright, so starting off on the real canvas, first things first, perspective setup. They wanted like a top-down angle, like a somewhat top-down angle. So brought in the 3D figure to set up a walking pose, although I think I could have even managed that from imagination. It wouldn't have been a huge deal, but you know, when you're on a time limit, you want to do things as efficiently as possible. Started off drawing that hoodie over his figure because that's necessary. You need to have like a big ass long fit hoodie with the shirt, like a white shirt underneath. Interesting fashion choices. Dude has a mech arm of sorts, like robot arm. That would be cool to do, although it is kind of small, so it doesn't stand out as much as I would like it to. Maybe I should have made it the camera angle like, whoop, yeah, like this, so the arm stands up. Anyway, it would have been stupid. I thought I'd put one arm behind his back so it would look more like a curious, oh damn, what is this? Like a gentleman walking through the park, like a jolly old chap in London, in Birmingham. No, you won't find anything like this in Birmingham.
I just woke up in a fucking steaming mood, yeah? Because I live in a soul. Do you know what I mean? Birmingham is a...
So, park benches, brought in some random park pack from the Clip Studio Assets library. Like, these park benches have like these curved elements, so I don't see any reason to use 2D drawing only for that. It's useful to do 3D instead. I always do 3D for backgrounds now. It's like my standard, actually. I don't know why anybody would expect anything else from me. But yeah, I mean, the rest of the background elements were pretty easy to draw in by hand because they're organic, like the bushes and the tree trunks. The bushes would be covered in snow as well. That's why they have their normal shape instead of just the branches without the leaves. But yeah, I mean, I filled the character silhouette and started coloring him. Pretty straightforward stuff. Almost 1.5 hours elapsed already. Soon it'll be time to send it off, but yeah, we gotta fill everything in first, especially the robot arms. Lighting past time though. Moonlight, I wasn't sure how strong it should be compared to other lighting. Like, I don't usually do nighttime scenes like this, where it should be clearly nighttime, so this would be a struggle of sorts later on in the process. But yeah, I'm using my normal process of lasso plus eraser to make like the lighting be lighting, to have like shadows look like shadows. you know, and have like clean edges to everything. Now, instead of filling everything in the background, I just like threw in like rough blobs of color that would indicate lighting instead of actually filling things in, because we're getting closer to the halfway point. More than a quarter of the time is gone, so with all these implied lighting passes thrown in, I sent soft to the client. The character did have like a pretty big head in comparison to the rest of his body, and I kind of messed it up. He said multiple things, so let's go through them. First of all, the tie looks pretty thick. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I thought, yeah, it's a cartoony character. Maybe the tie should be thick, although the head should have been bigger as well in combination with that. Secondly, the head looks small compared to the body. My guy has been hitting the gym, it seems. So yeah, basically exactly what I just said. I kind of wasn't sure like what the proportions should be. Number 3, since you go for a more realistic look, which I like and hoped, I would like to have the cat ears removed. Looking at it now, it does not really fit the realism you go for, so they can be gone. Fair enough. I mean, it's not my character. I don't know what the design choices should be there. But yeah, removing things like that from the silhouette is the easiest ever change to do. And yeah, it could be a little darker and less lit. I agree to that view. All right, so let's continue. First of all, adjustments to the brightness of the entire thing, and changing the tie around, making it thinner, just the general proportional changes, liquefying the head and removing the cat ears in the process. But yeah, we're really going in with the shading now. Like that's basically like the whole main changes that were pointed out already addressed with like 10 minutes. Basically, I continued with lighting, added in like a rim light to the character because there would be like street lights in the background. That was my whole plan, to give it like a more cozy atmosphere. So basically there would be street lights that are yellow behind him to contrast the blue moonlight and make like a clear distinction between the two. So even if I went for like a neutral color for the moonlight, the contrast with the orange tone would make it look cool in comparison. So color is relative like that, so that's a cool life hack you can use. The snow background was pretty straightforward. You can be like somewhat abstract with it, so I just went in with the paintbrush on normal mode and painted in like rough footsteps or whatever on like the path he's walking in. It's kind of abstract in a way, still like I didn't really define the footsteps or whatever. It doesn't really matter though. What's more important is the bushes and like making the lighting on them pop, because that gives the environment like a feeling of cohesiveness and makes the lighting situation more solidified if everything has the same light source on it. I mean, that's a given, to be honest. But yeah, it's like, I just like the orange color in the background. The orange light hitting the ground gives like a sense of perspective as well, because it's like only a small area around the street lights is getting hit, and like it is in perspective from our point of view. Gives like more depth to the scene. But yeah, I mean, other addition I wanted to do was throw in like some faint signs of buildings in the background to imply that it is a park in a city and not just a random forest or whatever. It was a pretty simple thing to do with like the rectangle selections, which in Clip Studio snap to your perspective grids. You can make like 3D cubes pretty easily with that method. And yeah, I just basically made them very low contrast to just barely be poking through the background. I just wanted the lights from the windows to be the main attraction there. And those would also be pretty low contrast in comparison to the actual street lights. So that makes it look like these are very far in the distance, which was the goal. So only a bit over 2 hours remaining on a clock. And to be honest, I got more done in this time frame than I usually would. It's going faster than I would have thought, so I just started rendering overall everything, like the characters' clothing folds, cleaning that area up, making it look more defined, because it's like the character doesn't have a face or hair, so, and the clothing is rather simple. There isn't like a whole lot of detail going on there. The snow on the ground covers up everything in the background as well, so that cuts down the time spent on everything as well, because I don't really need to make it look accurate. I don't need to make like an accurate face, accurate hair, accurate clothing details, accurate background details. So that's what allows me to spend more time rendering on this particular piece, which is cool. I like that. I really went in hard with the ambient occlusion and moonlight rendering on the character, because it is supposed to be a character focused piece. So let's really focus in on that area, make the forms pop to the best of my ability. Like spent half an hour here already, and it's starting to come together, like with like the highlight highlights thrown in on the zipper. That implies like metallic parts in there somewhat. I didn't really render any zipper details, just put in like where light hits it, where the highlights appear. But that gives it a cool look. 1 hour, 22 minutes, and I threw in some highlights on the snow in the background as well, like on the bushes specifically like that. I noticed that the benches and like the street light in the foreground were missing shadows. Added those in, added more life to the picture instantly, solidified the lighting. However, the street light in the foreground felt awkward because it's not actually on. What's the point of there being a pole if there isn't like orange light coming down on it? And if there was orange light coming down, it would ruin the moonlight, so I just decided to get rid of it entirely, and I think that actually opened up the composition a little bit more. Removed the unnecessary contrast from the side of the image, which allows everything else to breathe a bit more. But yeah, I mean, that's cool. We can just go in rendering the snow now in the background. I mean, what else is there to do? Like, just gotta render out the background elements because the character is like pretty much finished at this point. And I still have an hour left, so basically like I almost had to force myself to render because it's like I'm not used to having so much time left over. I'm usually doing some overtime, but here I just had to use up the time budget that the client was paying for to render everything. Just clean things up, clean up the edges, remove any sketch lines that were remaining, and like soften some shadows in some parts. Basically just add more details to like cuffs on the clothing, like the bottom area, and the eye details. Like, I don't know, like there is almost like too little detail on the character for this amount of time. One part that I had neglected a bit was the mechanical fingers and the hand, so I went back there, added those yellow parts in, and like some proper highlights, metallic highlights in there that would be reflecting the moonlight. Really nice stuff. I like that. Probably my favorite part of the character. 20 minutes left to push. The thing is, a lot of this scene is in the shadows, like it's all very dark, and like the main principle to follow with rendering is biggest amount of rendering goes into areas where light is hitting the subject, or like where there's like a transition between light and dark. But this is like a nighttime scene and everything is dark, so it's like the extra rendering doesn't really help that much in the grand scheme. But yeah, we're reaching the end now, so I thought I just refine the snow pass a little bit. It was like a little bit pixelated. I used like a custom brush that was pretty low resolution, and to address that I basically used the little trick. I blurred it and pumped up the contrast to remove any grays, which removes the soft edges from the snowflakes, and just put it on screen mode, and bam, we got clean snowflakes. A little bit of motion blur added in on top makes this look cool. And yeah, I mean, that's basically it. It was pretty simple, to be fair. I do like the end result. The character looks three-dimensional. I like the glowing eyes. It looks very effective. I think the moonlight effect is coming through as well. The client liked it. They did like a little animation with it, like a snowfall animation, and that's all that matters. Satisfaction guarantee. It's not guaranteed, but satisfaction is satisfaction was what's the fucking word? Jesus. Achieved. Really nice. Ding ding. We've got a whole bunch more commissions to do though. Long unedited time lapse of this drawing available on my second channel.
Buy my shirts right now, or else.
Bruh, check out my SoundCloud.
Hey kid, wanna buy some reference packs? I got you covered, fam.